nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Today we'll go bird watching, tomorrow we'll catch toads. The next day we'll take photographs of bugs along the road. I never get the feeling that I'm in a rut. That's why I'm a nature nut. Well, I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.
Hello, Nature Nuts. Didn't know if I could do that. How are you today? Guess what? Today is going to be a good day because today we are going to explore another one of my favorite groups of beetles.
Why do we need another show about beetles, John?
Wait a minute, give me a break here. Beetles are okay. I mean, I like beetles. There's so many different kinds of beetles. We've just started to scratch the surface of the world of beetles. Hey, look, wilderness viewing port. We've been looking at so many tiger beetles. Tiger beetles are my favorites, and they're relatives to the ground beetles in the family Carabidae. The diving beetles, the whirligig beetles, as well as metallic wood-boring beetles, weevils, ladybird beetles, some of the firefly beetles, a couple of longhorn beetles, of course all the various scarab beetles, everything from dung beetles, June beetles, Hercules beetles, but that's still just the beginning. It's a huge subject, beetles. And we haven't yet spent enough time with click beetles. So what do you say? Let's just give it a go. Strange Voices, Wilderness Viewing Portal. It's going to be a weird day. It's going to be a weird day.
Beetles, as you recall, are insects with hardened wing covers and chewing mouth parts.
Well, one of the good things about click beetles is it's such a huge family of beetles. They're found almost everywhere. Wherever you live, you've got click beetles, I'll guarantee it. The easiest way to find them is to go out on a nice sunny day, look on leaves, poof, there's a click beetle. It's easy. You can also look on logs, you can look even on the ground, and you'll find them. And I've got to tell you, we've traveled all the way from here in Alberta down to Arizona, Costa Rica, to find the very finest click beetles to feature on this episode. Now, have a closer look at this one, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, the way you recognize a click beetle, they're kind of long, slender, elegant-looking beetles, usually with a little backward projecting spine on each side of the little shield behind the head. You know, the pronotum is what we call it. There's no other word for it. They can be almost any color, and they range in size from little tiny ones that are just a few millimeters long up to big long ones that are maybe, half the length of your finger. Marvelous things. The larvae, by the way, the baby click beetles, they are called wire worms. Some of them live deep in the soil feeding on roots. Some of them are in rotten logs, and they're kind of interesting in their own right. But the adult click beetle is what we're going to focus on today. And if you're not exactly sure if you're looking at a click beetle, remember, the cool thing about click beetles, the distinctive thing about click beetles is they click. And one, and two. You know, this has got to be good for me. Been thinking that maybe this nature study thing is too passive, too sedentary, contemplative. So I've been trying to work on my waistline, and I've been taking my inspiration from the click beetles because they are the fittest of all beetles. They've been working on the ultra-fast sit-up for millions of years. It's incredible. Let me show you what I mean. Got a few volunteer click beetles here. Lathon, don't confuse them with Hemicropidius. These are Lathon. And I've got a banjo. A banjo! Now, click beetle, this is what makes them click beetles. when they find themselves upside down on a flat surface, like for example, a banjo. Okay, let go of each other. They wiggle their legs a bit, then they ping, they click. Careful of the strings. Oh, that must have hurt. They, you know, pull the legs in, and then they click. And that's how they get back on their feet. At least half the time. Okay, come here, Lathan. Go back in there. Very, very neat. Very, very neat. The mechanism involves arching their back, and they've got a little spine in the what would be their neck if they were built like us. And then they punch that into a little divot in the chest. It's so fast it propels them into the air. That is what makes a click beetle click. It's a beautiful thing. Makes a guy want to yodel. You don't hear enough yodeling these days, do you?
Click beetles belong to the family Elateridae, which means either driver or rise up.
Okay, well, here's a great click beetle. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, click beetles in North America. I'm in southern Arizona near the Mexican border, and this is Chalcolepidus, or is it Chalcolepidus? I don't know, just chalk it up to bad pronunciation. That's what it is. And the neat thing about this click beetle is it's so big that, if I can get it to click here, the clicks are really quite weak. It's too big to do anything other than just try to startle me, pretending I'm a predator. Oh, there we go, now it's clicking like crazy here. The clicks, they send a little shock wave through the body, but they're not really very strong because the thing is so heavy that it can't do much with the clicks. Even if I put it on my hand and get it to click, it just sort of hops a little tiny bit. There's no way that this click beetle could use its clicking mechanism to get itself back on its feet. It's just too big and heavy, which again makes you wonder why click beetles started clicking in the first place. But that is a lovely beetle with this gorgeous sort of chalky border on the iridescent blue-black body, and gorgeous big jaws, although it hasn't tried to bite me with them yet. But there you go, Chalcolepidus from southeastern Arizona. It is at this point that I wish to make you aware of some difficult intellectual problems with the general notion that the click beetles have developed their click mechanism as an adaptation strictly for righting themselves from an inverted, which is to say, upside down position. If they were simply able to flip over with a click, why then would they move their legs in a flailing manner? Why would they open their wing covers and extend their wings in the fashion of other beetles trying to flip over from an inverted position? This matter would never have been drawn to my personal attention if not for conversations that I have had with my friend and good colleague, Dr. Ed Fuller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't have to be on their back to click.
No kidding.
I think most of them.
Even the big guys.
Even the big ones, yeah.
Oh, neat. Neat. I didn't know that. Hey, what's this guy?
That is Tenicera, which is a fairly
Tenicera.
common genus around here.
And that's a particularly brown and dull-looking Tenicera.
And that's fairly typical of Tenicera as well. So
I've seen just the little tiny Negastrius doing the click. You know, you go to get them and they just go ping.
yeah,
And
I've seen Cardiophorus doing it.
Cardiophorus.
Yeah.
I have a Cardiophorus here that I found moments ago by the river.
Cool.
Shall we check it?
Let's try it.
I like these guys because they're spotted. Okay, now should I just put them down on the ground here?
Yeah, try on this stick.
Oh yeah, okay. Be free, little beetle. And you're going to threaten him with the forceps, is that the plan?
Yeah, I'm going to try to antagonize him into doing it. Cardiophorus is fairly active. They prefer to run or fly, actually, unless they're in fairly grave danger.
How grave a danger does it have to be? I mean, if I was a beetle being attacked by giant forceps, I would consider that grave danger.
It should be, but obviously we're not.
But he's not going to do it, is he?
No.
Yeah.
He's just gonna run away.
It happens. It happens all the time in nature. Just because it didn't happen now doesn't mean a thing. Well, now I am in the rainforests of Costa Rica, and I have another nifty click beetle to show you. I mean, it's a big one. It's not as big as that clicker we saw in Arizona, but it's big. This is Pyrophorus, and Pyrophorus is noteworthy because it is a glow-in-the-dark click beetle. It produces light like a firefly, but I'm sure you remember that a firefly has its little light-producing bulb at the tip of its abdomen. This thing, boy, it's clicking like crazy here. This thing does not have a bulb at the tip of the abdomen. Instead, the two lights they're kind of like headlights. They're right at the base of the spine at the back of the pronotum. These are the two spines that you look for to tell that you're looking at a click beetle. Those things glow like little headlamps in the dark, and apparently they're bright enough that you can read a newspaper by the light of one of these beetles. At least that's what I've read. But, to tell you the truth, I cannot get this thing to light up in the dark. I've slept with it in a little vial in the bed with me. I put it under the covers, I look at it, I shake it, and, poke it, and I just can't get it to light up. Ooh, geez, still clicking. Hey, a newspaper. Cool, now I get it, they bring their own.
The biggest click beetles in the world live in Asia, and they are more than 70 millimeters long.
Oh no, that one's a coyote. I'm trying to call birds, because we need a bird. I gotta show you how birds just don't like click beetles. I can't get a bird to come in. Can't even get a pigeon to come in. Guess we're gonna have to make do with this rare three-toed avocet. Okay, whoa, stay. Birds don't like click beetles because click beetles click. It startles them. Watch this. I have here a hemicropidius. I'll put it on my pant leg. He's got it. He's got it in the bill. And... Oh, you hear that? Oh! It popped right out of the bird's bill. Apparently, we think that's why they click. It's that the little shock of their clicking startles the birds or pops them right out of the bill. Then they get lost in the leaf litter. Bird can't find them. And there you go. Huh, what do you think? You're still hungry? Give him some cheesies or something. He loves cheesies. They love cheesies almost as much as they love click beetles. No cheesies up there. Go, go, go.
Click beetles are eaten by birds, lizards, mice, frogs, spiders, and other insects.
Okay, well, I guess that bird demonstration wasn't perhaps as convincing as it could be, but I want you to realize that click beetles, they don't just click to flip over, they click whenever things are just not going their way. I mean, it reminds me of a beautiful day not long ago around my 20th birthday. I was walking through the woods on a sunny, warm afternoon like this one, just enjoying the smells and the sights and the sounds. And I heard this sort of snapping sound, and it was somewhere in the woods, down low, 20, 30 yards away. And I snuck through the woods because I didn't know what it was. And as I got closer and closer, I became more and more puzzled because it didn't stop snapping. And then I found this dried leaf. Beautiful dried poplar leaf with a click beetle stuck in a hole in the leaf. It had tried to go through this hole in the leaf, and it got stuck, and it was clicking to beat the band. As far as I'm concerned, more evidence that they don't just use the click mechanism to flip over. That's a beautiful memory. Beautiful memory indeed. Little guy got out too. Went on to enjoy the day as much as I did. That's the nice thing about click beetles. They love life. Joie de click.
One, two, three.
Click beetles, they got snap. They got a groove way to wake up from a nap. And as beetles go, they're really gone. I remember the one that shone. Early one September Eve, crawling on my hands and knees, I thought I heard a beetle sneeze, but he's a little click, a little click. Did a beetle trick with a spike on his chin and a hole in his chest. What else you gonna call it? Rick the Click could flick real quick, and everyone said, "Hey, Rick's the best." Click beetles, they got snap. Got a groove way to wake up for a nap, and as the beetles go, they're really gone. I remember the one that shone. Watch them have a panic attack, then crane their neck and with the whack go flippin', 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 smack. Oh, Rick the Click did a beetle trick with that wonderful gizmo on the front of his chest. Rick the Click could flick real quick and everyone said, "Hey, Rick's the best!" Good beetles, they got snap. Got a groove way to wake up for a nap. And as the beetles go, they're really gone. I remember the one that shone. Good beetles, they got snap. Got a groove way to wake up for a nap. And as the beetles go, they're really gone. I remember that one, he's gone.
Oh man, so you know that thing that happens when you realize that you're actually, that you don't know what you're talking about? Well, it just happened to me. That click beetle I just showed you, it didn't glow in the dark. 10 years ago, I photographed one exactly like it that did glow in the dark, at least I thought it glowed in the dark, in Ecuador. Then last night, I'm out in the rainforest, I find this guy, a completely different looking click beetle that glows in the dark. I'd hate to think that I was wrong, but I think I was wrong. Anyway, let's have a look at her. Look at that. A click beetle that glows in the dark. Now that is too cool. See the two headlights? I mean, how much more obvious could it be? Look at that, see? Lights up in the dark. Excellent. And I tested out the other part of the theory. You'd have to be mighty patient and desperate to read a newspaper by the light of this baby. Not much brilliance. 2-watt click beetle.
Some species of glow-in-the-dark click beetles occur as far north as the southern USA.
Okay, well, before I embarrass myself any further, I've got to review a few click beetle facts. I mean, you know, I'm not making big mistakes, but I am tripping over myself. The one I called Hemicropidius, that was really a melanotus. The one I called Lathon, well, I forgot the name is really Lacon. I said Chalcolepidus, and it's really Chalcolepidus. Whoa. This is a lot to know. I've borrowed these specimens from Ed Fuller, and this is my favorite Tenicera resplendens. It's an elegant, iridescent click beetle, always a pleasure to encounter in the wild, and it's a native Albertan and Canadian click beetle as well. But, you know, the most mysterious part was that one that was supposed to glow in the dark and didn't. Ed tells me it's really a semiotis, not a pyrophorus, and that semiotis don't glow in the dark. There's a specimen of the real glow-in-the-dark one. Let's have a look. I've got a live one here. Let's see exactly how bright they can be.
Hello! click beetle.
When you see them in nature, they're usually glowing while they fly, and presumably they're signaling to other members of their species like a firefly would, but it is interesting that they glow as well when you pick them up, so it's probably another one of those strange little anti-predator things that click beetles do. So there you go, one more good look at the glow-in-the-dark click beetle of the American tropics, Pyrophorus, the real Pyrophorus. This is Pyrophorus, I can say with some authority, Pyrophorus. It means the flame bearer.
Well, you have to admit, that was pretty neat, wasn't it? I mean, click beetles, they're not just any beetles. They're extra neat beetles. And you know how people get upset when a myth is debunked? The same thing's gonna happen here. The myth that the click beetle clicks just to flip over, it's exactly that. It's just a myth. The real story is more interesting, isn't it? It comes back to this fitness thing. And you know how people who are in shape, they're always saying that it has so many other benefits to it. That's a human click beetle. How about that? Anyway, it's great. Same thing for click beetles. They're the fittest of all beetles, and it allows them to flip over if they want to flip over, get out of dry leaves, startle bird predators, get off of vegetation in a big hurry, even play the banjo. It's a beautiful thing. Maximizes their potential. Which I guess is our goal too, for beetles and for people. That's why I'm a nature nut. And I hope you are too. See you again soon. Oh man, I'm never gonna have my own fitness show, am I? Talk about a debunked myth. Same time each and every week, uncensored and uncut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.